How many card shops can I visit in a single day? Let's find out. A recent trip to the East Coast afforded a single free day to explore, so I saddled up with Sancho Panza for a full day of local card store visits. The first stop was Bob's Sports Cards in Howell, New Jersey. The shop was long and narrow, with the walls lined with sealed boxes. The cases had more Yankees cards than anything else, and all the Yankee stuff was on the top. What little Phillies cards there were on the bottom. There were some inserts and relics, a few autos, nothing crazy. I asked about pre-war vintage, but he had none. He had a Maddox rookie at $15 that I just picked up at the Dallas show for $5, and a Griffey rookie for $20 that I picked up for $6. So prices were elevated. What little vintage he had was spread in a single case and included this '67 Topps Steve Carlton marked at $100. Again on the very high side of the price market. Same for the '68. His wax selection was impressive, and Bob the owner said it was the majority of his business these days. There was a single dollar box on the counter that I casually flipped through, hoping to find something to take with me, and indeed I found an '87 Topps Glossy All-Star of Ryne Sandberg that I can throw in my set. A Topps Gold Label rookie of Pat the Bat Burrell, which I was pretty sure I already had, and of course a Harper for the kid. $3 later, and I left Bob's Sports Cards to sell his wax. Nice guy, nice shop, but not much for me. Card shops opened late, so we could squeeze in only one more before lunch. We pulled into Shaunt Sports Connection just as it opened at 11 a.m. This shop is in Chalfont, Pennsylvania, a little north of Philadelphia, if you couldn't guess by the sports logos in the windows. This shop was spacious, with a huge gallery of dollar boxes, and only a few cases. They had exactly 2 pre-war vintage cards, including this T206 George McClellan, which sadly I already have. They had a Jim Palmer autograph for a reasonable $30, a PSA 6 Ripken rookie for a reasonable $20, among many other reasonably priced cards. The dollar boxes were calling, though. And then we found out the tables on the outer wall were 10 for $1 boxes, and some of the others were 3 for $1 boxes. Value everywhere, so go get me a drink. They were organized enough that I was able to fill some of the set holes of my junk wax nightmare project, including the 1989 Donruss card number 50 Ron Gant and a few of the MVP cards. I found a score Pedro Martinez rookie for $0.10, an 82 Topps Reggie Jackson for $0.10, a few early Scott Rowland cards, and a bunch of 88 Donruss cards for the Junk Wax Nightmare project. After all was said and done, I got everything you see here for $8. The shop owners were happy to let us flip through the boxes as long as we wanted. The selection was pretty vast, and there was plenty of room to spread out, a luxury we didn't yet appreciate. You could spend all day in the dollar bins here. 2 thumbs up for Chalfont Sports Connection. Check them out if you're in the Bucks County, Pennsylvania area. After a quick stop for lunch, we ran over to Philly Cards 25 in Hatfield, PA. They were a little tricky to find as Google Maps displaces them a bit from their actual location. The outer door is a bit intimidating as it doesn't look like a retail shop, but walk in and you'll discover a space converted to be just that. This was a tiny shop with big selection and a really friendly owner. They had only been open a few scant months. This was a new shop trying to make it happen, and by all accounts, they were making it happen. In their cases, I saw a very cool autographed Bowman rookie card of Jimmy Rollins, a 96 Leaf auto of Curt Schilling, a Harper Prospect variation numbered to 99, and other Harper Prospect variations. They had some banger dollar boxes, too. For $1 a piece, I pulled a Ripken Black Box Error, a 77 Bench, 86 Clemens, a Rex Hudley auto, 78 Dual Hall of Fame Strikeout Leaders card, a Harper for the kid, a Jim Thome rookie, and a Topps Finest Crime Dog. Great boxes and fun to flip. Over in their $5 boxes, I found some Griffey rookies, the Bowman and Topps traded at $10 each, and the 1988 Vermont Mariners minor league card at $30. This minor league card is an order of magnitude more rare than anything else Griffey of this era, and $30 was a pretty fair price for it. So after a bit of hemming and hawing, my trusty companion smacked some sense into me, and I just went for it. It's not a card that you see very often. The guys gave me a great deal, all of the dollar bin pulls, plus the Griffey Vermont Mariners card, all for $35. We exchanged info, and with a grateful handshake, we left to go find more card store trouble. The next stop in the day was Sports Card Playground in Horsham, Pennsylvania. It was in a tiny little strip mall, and when I opened the door, I was greeted with absolute chaos. Boxes everywhere. There was barely room for 3 people to be in this shop at any one time. It was a hoarder's delight. The boxes were piled so high it was difficult to see any real product. There was some sealed boxes, but that was pretty much it. A single case of singles that wasn't of any interest to me, and not a single box to flip through. None. It seemed apparent that this shop does most of their business in sealed Pokemon product, and I was happy to let them do it. I stayed less than a minute as there was nothing for me to buy and nowhere for me to stand. The owner was a friendly woman, though, who at least gave me a nice greeting on the way in and immediately after on the way out. It was about 4 p.m., but checking the map, there was one more shop we could get to before dinner plans would interrupt this card store extravaganza, so off we zoomed to Coach's Sports Cards in downtown Hatboro, Pennsylvania. The shop has been open for about a year. It was small, but spacious, with a welcoming atmosphere. The cases were heavy on football and basketball cards, but they had a few Phillies cards, and a 1947 Bond-bred Jackie Robinson, too. The owner asked what I was looking for, and happily pulled out some choice vintage boxes for me to peruse. So I started flipping, and find a George Brett rookie, a Carlton Fisk rookie, an Early Carlton, a Lou Brock rookie, a Dave Parker rookie, and mantles. Lots and lots of mantles. You know how rare it is for mantles to just be in a box like this? Typically, they would be graded and highlighted in the cases. Here, just in a box that was given to some guy to just flip through. That's amazing. Fun cards to just handle. The box had a Willie Stargell rookie in it too, and this gem, a 1958 Topps Pancho Herrera rookie with an autograph. Pancho Herrera appeared in episode 1 of this channel. If you want to see how things got started, go back and watch that little 3-minute delight and learn a little more about this important historical player. Pancho Herrera was the second black player to play for the Phillies and the first black player to appear on a Phillies baseball card. Though his career was cut short by a leg injury, he had a good 58 and 59 season in the big leagues, and he was also a star for the Kansas City Monarchs of the Negro League. He died in 2005, so the number of his autographs are fixed. This was, of course, unauthenticated, but there are enough authenticated autographs available for me to make a comparison. And by any comparison that I could make, this autograph looked legitimate. There wasn't a price on it, so I had no idea what they wanted for it. And a card like this falls into the try and find another one category of rare. Cards like this are why I love popping into new shops when I can, because you just never know what you're going to find there. This is my chance to own this card. Knowing that card was coming home with me one way or the other, I set it aside with some choice singles and then turned my attention to their dollar box wall and helped myself with their blessing. I didn't find much in the dollar boxes, but I found enough. There was a surprisingly hard-to-find 1985 Fleer Update rookie of Phillies legend and catcher Darren Daulton, a Michael Mercado autograph from 2025 Topps, and a Harper prospect. After I finished all of my flipping, I took my pile to the counter and asked for a price, and it took them a while to price me out. They were using a scan app that seemed a bit clumsy. I tried to peek, but I couldn't see if they were pricing off of VCP or eBay or what. He came back at $70 for the lot, $45 of which was the Pancho Herrera autograph. That was higher than I was expecting, but I checked eBay too, and it was kind of in line with the current market. Also, find another one, right? He's been dead for more than 20 years. So I begrudgingly paid the $70, $45 for the Pancho, $15 for the Harper, and $10 for the rest. A fair price, but not exactly a steal. I shook his hand and wished him luck with the store. 1 year in, and they seem like they're going to make it. 5 card stores in one day. 5 very different card stores. 5 very different ways to hobby. I poured myself an Oregon Pinot Noir and reviewed the pickups of the day, content in both the variety of the subtle flavors of the wine and the cards that will add new flavors to my collection. Thanks for watching. Help support the channel with the purchase of a custom card box divider made to your exacting specifications. Send me an email at philliesbaseballcards@gmail.com to talk about how.